There's a difference between boundaries and emotional walls. Boundaries are healthy. They protect your peace. They allow you to say no with calmness. But emotional walls keep everything out. They block connection. They keep you guarded even when it's safe to open. And sometimes we confuse the two. All right. And I think sometimes when we don't have boundaries, we violate them. We violate our own boundaries and we allow people to violate our boundaries, right? So now when they're violated, now we put this wall up. Oh, all men are scoundrels. So, or I will never go on a date with a modern man. Like, we put this big wall up because a boundary we did not keep in place. And as I said before, boundaries are healthy. Boundaries are very healthy. And I know they're healthy because I looked at my Jesus. My Jesus, he helped people, he had compassion, but there were moments where he had to go away. There are moments where he had to go and pray. He had to make time for himself. He had to replenish himself because the people just pulling him left and right, rah, rah, help me, heal me. Yes, I'm going to help you. Yes, I'm going to heal you. But right now, I got to go pray. I got to steal away. I still love you though. Okay? So you can protect your peace in that way. And you can say no. But I think sometimes when we move from desperation and people pleasing, we violate our boundaries just for attention and the need to feel loved. But then when we went past the red light, now there goes the emotional wall. We were disappointed. We cannot confuse the two. I know that there are emotional walls, but if you're trying to make a connection with a gentleman or establish a new friend or things like that, you can't have a wall up because people can feel it. People can sense it. I tried talking to her, but it seemed like I was talking to a brick wall. Or for some reason, she just moves this way, and I don't understand why. I walked her to her door, and everything, I was a gentleman. She slammed the door on my face. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, those emotional walls, we have to, those are deep work that we have to get through. And we have to really do some praying and get some therapy. All right? Because y'all, we can't be having no bitter betties. You know this, that. Like, you need to get rid of that emotional wall, sis. Because you're sounding crazy. And we need to put some boundaries in place, And I think just having a wife school, it's just when I learned what boundaries were in my journey, my mind was blown because I wanted everyone around me to be happy, and if I can make it happen, I'll do it at my expense. But I was left like disappointed and burnt out. Afraid to say no, thinking that I had to say yes to everything. And when I said yes, I was like, why did I do this? Why? And and then I was just like miserable the whole time doing this project or doing something, and I was like, instead of just saying no, you know. But now I say no very easily. No, no, N-O, capital. And it's very freeing because you should just be honest. The Bible says, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Like, if you really don't want, just say no. And if you really want to, say yes. And don't murmur and complain about it. But if you feel you're going to murmur, just say no. That's it. Be truthful. Be honest. A person can respect that than feeling like they're a headache or a burden, you know? So we have to establish healthy boundaries for ourselves. Okay? And true femininity isn't about having no boundaries. And this is where I think a lot of we hear the rhetoric that, oh, being married is a slave, it's slavery, and I have no life, I have no opinion, no personality. No, you do have these things. Yes, you can go into a marriage but like, hey, you know, I am me. Or if you're dating, say, this is the things, you know, I like, ding, 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 and say them. You know, I may want to work during a marriage. And then the other person might say, well, I don't want my woman working. Yeah, you have to talk about those things because now you know if you're in alignment or not. You know, that takes nothing from you. You're just being honest or setting a boundary. You know, you have to put things in place because people will push the boundaries. They want to see how far or how much they can get away with sometimes. But when it comes to our lives and our choices and decisions, some of these things are long term. Some of these things we can't turn back from. So we have to really know ourselves and have some set boundaries in place, you know, even as a woman, because some people do not have good intentions. So having a nice calm boundary in place has respect, keeps your self-respect for yourself. And those that want to violate that, it's probably not your person or somebody that you want to continue with. Okay. And with having these boundaries, now you don't have to close yourself off. You don't have to have this big emotional wall up. Because now you have a clear, you know, foundation for yourself. And either, as I said, people can respect it. They'll respect that femininity. They'll respect who you are and what you represent, or they won't. And they will excuse themselves. And you get to keep your dignity. You get to keep your head up. And, you know, you don't have to close yourself off anymore behind that emotional wall because you have that confidence and you're not going back to that old way of handling things by hiding behind the emotional wall, because now you have new boundaries and new standards. And I think the more that women do embrace, you know, boundaries and standards, it kind of like you said, it's either going to draw somebody that aligns with you or they'll go the other way. And you don't have to people please. You don't have to, you know, be a doormat in order just to get the attention. you don't want to get attention that way. You don't want to receive love that way. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. And we're getting rid of the emotional wall. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Wife School Podcast. And we'll see you on the next video.